Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our backyard. Today I wanted to go over our bird feeders. I would like to share with you what we do to feed the birds in our backyard. And as you know, I garden along the Texas Gulf Coast in Zone 9A, and I garden specifically for hummingbirds and butterflies. But I also feed the birds, and we have a lot of birds that will come through and feed at our feeders. So I have 3 feeding stations that we use, and this one you see right here. We do have a squirrel issue, and squirrels do come and raid our feeders, and we have had really good luck with getting a pole system. And I'm going to come closer and putting squirrel baffles, and that's what this is. This is a metal skirt that the squirrels cannot climb up. The other thing that's really important is you need to put your feeders away from anything that they can jump from. So it needs to be at least 8 to 10 feet, because squirrels can easily jump 6 feet. And so I need to put my feeders away from anything that they can jump from. I do have this pot, but they cannot get, I had to place that squirrel baffle just right because they cannot jump from there up high enough to get past that squirrel baffle. So this is one feeding station that I have. You can purchase yours from anywhere. I have a local store called Wild Birds Unlimited that I absolutely love. They are a little bit more expensive, but for the use that I get, to me, it's so much worth it. I'm not endorsing a product by any means. I'm not getting any. They don't even know, right, that I make this video, but their products are very, very quality. The thing I like about this pole system is, and I'm sure there's others in other companies, is they have like an auger at the base, and you just use a screwdriver to put through the holes that they have in this really thick pipe that has this coating on it, and you just turn it around and it just drills into the ground. And so this goes a long ways into the ground. So this is a very, very stable pole system. I know it's rated up to, I don't know, 45, 50 miles an hour easy. I shouldn't say the numbers because I'm not really sure. We get wind here, and they are absolutely fine in the wind. So right now I change out depending on the season and the birds that I have. Right now I have a platform feeder that I have covered so it doesn't get wet. And you'll notice I have little domes on my feeders, and that's purely so the seed doesn't get wet. The seed that I use is also from Wild Birds Unlimited. I use different kinds of seed for the different types of birds. And it just, depending on what I'm wanting to feed, this particular feeder has sunflower, just the sunflower shell, the seeds, not the shells. It's already shelled. I've got bark butter, a suet in that feeder, and then up top I put multiple types of seed up there, including peanuts and safflower and no mess blend, and just a lot of different, some mealworms, dried mealworms, and lots of birds come up there. Since we've been through the spring migration, I also have a little, you can see right here, let me get up close. I have some grape jelly for the orioles. This happens to be a wire branch that you can purchase that hooks onto the pole system, and little cups for my jelly that I put out. So that's one feeder. Let me go to the next feeder. And the reason I have multiple is we just really like to invite the birds to our yard. I have 2 baffles here, and it is just really to prevent any kind of critter, if you will, trying to get up the pole, and we've been very successful with this. So you'll notice these have domes over them, and I've got a small little hopper feeder up top, but I just have multiple seeds: sunflower, safflower, no mess blend, all in a combination here. And the songbirds are the ones that pretty much come over to this feeder. And then let me come over to the third feeder. And I have a couple of hummingbird feeders here at the moment, and a suet feeder that my woodpecker goes to, and I have a planter. But in the fall, when the hummingbird migration is coming through, this I have filled totally with hummingbird nectar feeders. And I do switch out the different type of feeders that I use depending on the time of the year. You'll notice on this one I also have a baffle, because believe it or not, the squirrels would come and they would love to drink the sugar water. Squirrels are cute, but they have been a pest in the yard. One of the things that our arborist has told us, that because we've had problems with squirrels gnawing on the wood, and he said that squirrels' their teeth do not quit growing throughout their lifetime, and they have to chew to gnaw that down, and that's why squirrels do so much damage down here on the siding on homes and the soffits and the fascias, is because they're just constantly chewing to file down their teeth. So they're doing what squirrels do, but I would prefer they don't do it in our yard. So anyway, I am going to mention on the hummingbird feeder. So we have hummingbirds also right now, and I'm going to pull one of these down. And you'll notice this is considered a tray feeder. And the reason I have this particular design is because I have found it to be absolutely the easiest to clean. And you have to keep your nectar clean, and I will be changing out my nectar today. And cleaning is a big issue, and some of the real pretty, so I've had lots of different kinds of hummingbird feeders, and lots of the really beautiful hummingbird feeders were very much a pain to clean. And so I stopped using those types and now only use these tray type of feeders because they are so easy to clean. One more thing I'm going to share. I put a little dab of bark butter on the tree, and that attracts all different kinds of birds, from red-bellied woodpeckers to robins to, I've seen our cardinals eat it, the blue jays, the mockingbirds, they all love, and especially suet feeding birds love this bark butter. But it's fun to see, and I've got a video that I'm going to post of a male red-bellied woodpecker bringing his new fledgling over and feeding him bark butter. It's really cute. So I also have a couple of bird baths, and this one I have on the ground, and birds will come and drink and of course take baths from it. You'll notice that I have what's called a wiggler, and that disrupts the water. So one, I don't have issues with mosquitoes trying to mosquito eggs because the water is constantly being disrupted. And I also change out the water regularly. So I have this bird bath, and I have this bird bath that I have a solar fountain in it that it also sprays all day. And the birds will come drink, and my male cardinal loves to come and take a bath in this particular bath every single day. And that has been really, really helpful. But there's also something that the birds love to drink from. So right now I have 4 hummingbird feeders around the yard, and I did pull one down to show you, and I forgot to show what's in the center. And in the center is what's called an ant moat, and you fill that with water so then you don't have the ants coming down and getting inside the sugar water. And the birds, especially the little birds like the chickadees, you can hear them, they're tweeting up. And let me pan over. As you can see, that's what they love to do. They love to drink from the ant moats. So on our feeding station here, we specifically put an ant moat, and you noticed I taped the chickadee feeding from there. Our female cardinal, birds for some reason love to drink from the ant moats. And I got tired of always having to refill the hummingbird feeder ant moats because they would come and they would drink from there, in addition to all the other areas, but they seem to really prefer feeding from the ant moats. So we hung an ant moat on one of these wire branches, and we've had success now for quite a few months, having water up for them up higher. The other thing I'll share with you that I do purchase is I do spend a little bit more money and get specific seed for the birds that we want to attract. And in the long run, it is a little bit more expensive, but it does pay off because I don't have messes anywhere underneath the bird feeders. This just happens to be some of the seed that I have. I have a scoop that I can use, put on a step stool and scoop up into the feeder. And I have safflower seed for the cardinals and the beautiful red house finches. I have the No Mess blend, which has sunflower chips, peanut chips, and calcium carbonate. I have the peanuts. Lots of birds love the peanuts. Right now in the spring, I have the nesting super blend. It really has a really great combo for the birds that are nesting. And then of course, the bark butter. This does change. I do have different seed. I have other seed in the house. I have just sunflower chips, for instance. And then this one is a bluebird mix, because I do have seen bluebirds that have come and have come to the feeders. And so I purchased the seed because in the long run, it's way less expensive for me to get the seed that works as opposed to getting the cheaper seed and having messes all underneath my bird feeders. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you joining me so I could share my love of feeding the birds and inviting them into our backyard. It's all a part of this ecosystem that's important for nature. So it's having the native plants, having the birds, the critters, the butterflies, the pollinators, all the natural things back into the yard. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day.